What's up, everybody? It is your boy, and welcome back to another video. And we are doing another album review for the first time in a really long time, actually. I did talk about a lot of albums recently in my ranking all of my favorite hip-hop albums of 2022 at the beginning of the year. I will put that in an iCard in the top right of your screen right now. Today we're looking at a little bit of a different album style-wise. Rapper Lil Yachty, obviously, typically I look at rap music and hip-hop, released an alternative slash rock album. And I thought I would make a review on it. So I'll go through the tracks, some of the stuff that I like about the songs, some of the stuff that I don't, and give you guys a rating. I've also decided that I'm going to change how I rate things because I'm a little bit lenient, because I used to rate it on like, oh, how much do I recommend this album? And if I like the album a decent amount, I just give it a 10 because I feel like you should listen to it. I'm going to rate things a little more strict, so then not everything gets like ridiculously high ratings like me giving God did like an 8.5 or whatever the hell I gave that album. Not that it's a terrible album, but that it probably didn't deserve to be rated so highly. Anyway, so let's start here. A very interesting concept, to be honest. I was very excited when I heard like people talking about it the day this album came out, because I only listened to it I think 2 days after it came out, not the day. And I was really excited to get into it because I heard a lot of like overwhelmingly positive reviews, and I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And I got into it, and I'll be honest, it exceeded my expectations. So obviously, you know, there's going to be a pretty positive review going on, giving you my initial thoughts, just like getting into the album and getting ready to listen to it for the first time. And I guess we could just go by song from top of the track list to the bottom, which means we are going to be starting with what is mine and most people's favorite track on the entire record, which is The Black Seminole. It's actually like a ridiculously long song. It's like 7 minutes long, but that's never bothered me when it comes to songs. This song is beautiful. It's so good. To be honest, the production throughout the entire project is phenomenal. All of it. I know a lot of people are calling him like Purple Floyd, Lil Yachty, which I thought was a pretty funny little reference. But The Black Seminole is definitely like, it's almost like a really good summary of what the album is into one 7-minute song, which is kind of cool, and it's a perfect intro to it. Just starting with like very synthy background that builds up a little bit into the actual like beat of the song with the actual like instrumental that goes on throughout Lil Yachty's singing. And his vocals aren't terrible. He obviously is using heavy autotune, but that's kind of like part of the genre in some ways, and in most cases at least. So it sounds really nice. It's not like he didn't use autotune in his rap music, but still. The Black Seminole is just, it's like ethereal in a way, if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, the many beat switches that occur throughout this song, and plenty of the other songs on this project, just have you feeling like you're lifting out of your chair, which is or whatever you're sitting or laying in, but it's just so and it's just like, it's interesting because the album's focus is far more on production than pretty much anything else, but that's kind of like the idea of like the style of the genre. Again, in most cases it's a lot of like the sound of the instrumental is kind of like what the genre is defined by, so it makes sense. Like The Black Seminole is 7 minutes long, and there's no singing, I think, past like the 3-minute mark or something like that. Like, more than half of the song doesn't actually have any lyrics in it, except there is some vocalizing in the background at the end to like bring the track to its end, which is phenomenal, by the way. The way that singing is done at the end just fits perfectly to end such a like climactic part of a song. And I'm not sure who it is. I think it's Fouché who does that. I'm not positive. I know she's on a bunch of songs in here, but I don't know if that was her on that specific song. But The Black Seminole is easily my favorite track out of this. And you have, honestly, the first 3 songs are probably 3 of the best, because then there's also The Ride and Running Out of Time. And I mean, The Ride is just like the song that people are listening to the most, I feel like. Just high-pitched falsetto type singing, and just the production of what you would expect out of this genre, and it's just very feel good. Almost the entire album is just like makes you feel good. It's kind of like it continually references like sunshine and trying to get to the sunshine and shit like that. Every song has its own like subtopics, but that's kind of the main premise of the entirety of the album. There's literally 2 songs that reference it. There's We Saw the Sun and the outro Reach the Sunshine. And man, I'm just thinking about all of the fantastic parts of all the different songs that keep getting stuck in my head. Since I first listened to the album, there hasn't been a moment where a song from this album hasn't been stuck in my head, except for the exception of like Sweet Yams by Fetty Wap. That's been stuck in my head a lot too. But The Ride is a great song. Running Out of Time, the way it transitions from The Ride with the bass going a little crazy at the beginning, and then the horns. Almost everything that I love about this is the way that the sound of Yachty's voice and obviously the features' voices mesh with how phenomenal the production on the entire project is. Running Out of Time. Just thinking about the intro to when Yachty starts singing is so good. Just so good. And then you have Pretty, which is a little bit less deep, if you will, and a little more fun in its own way. Like I know Fouché's singing her verse on that is pretty solid. Honestly, I think that might not even be her best part on the album. She has a few, and I mean Pretty was just a great verse from Fouché, and the vocalizing that Yachty does in the background, giving some Poland vibes, just going ya in the background, and it fits really well. It's actually a big part of the sound of the song during the chorus, which is pretty cool because it works really nicely. And then after Pretty comes Failure, which I was surprised I actually liked this song for like re-listening purposes, because it is just Yachty giving like a spoken word little like spiel about failure over a really well produced instrumental, and something about the instrumental on it just sells it for me, and I really like that track too. There's not as much to say about him. It's just Yachty talking about failure. It's not like anything deep, because even though it is kind of trying to be, it's nothing like, wow, I'm gonna go do something because I'm motivated by this. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. It's not like that, even if it's trying to be, but it is still good. And, like, the message behind it is, like, nice. It's just not, like, conveyed deeply, which isn't necessarily an issue for me. That doesn't turn me off of the track at all, to be honest. But, that is kind of all it is. And The Zone is another really good one. This one, actually, I think the singing and, like, the vocal performance by both Yachty and Justine Skye, I'm pretty sure she's the one who's featured on that one, actually is a pretty big part of it, like relative to songs like The Black Seminole, where the instrumental is like most of the song, but also like the best part of the song. In The Zone, the singing and the vocals are actually really nice, and they do kind of carry the song in some ways, like at the beginning, where it's just the instrumental going to Yachty going like, I'm so far gone, and that shit. And then he goes to like, sunshine, moonlights, something. I don't know all the words off the top of my head, but the beat switches to him switching that cadence to like something even more melodic, and it sounds really nice. And then the hook is just him going, I think it's just him vocalizing again, kind of like in Pretty, and he's just like humming in the background, and it sounds really nice. And then it cuts to him singing like, I feel at home up until, and then that transitions into Justine Skye's verse, which is honestly probably my second favorite part of the song. My favorite part of the song is probably the part that I was mentioning before, where he switches the cadence to the more melodic one. But Justine Sky's verse is very smooth. It sounds really nice on the Zone. And the next track is We Saw the Sun. We Saw the Sun is another one that's kind of carried by the instrumental. Again, the vocal performance doesn't like turn me off the track at all, but it's not like it's like saving it or making it like a million times better. It's making it better, but the instrumental is like the most contributing factor to my enjoyment of the song. And that's kind of all I really have to say about We Saw the Sun. Then we're brought to one of my favorite tracks on the entire thing, Drive Me Crazy. This one's more disco-like than the rest of the album, which I'm a big fan of. And this is opened by Diana Gordon, I'm pretty sure, and then Yachty comes in, yeah. And it's just very, like, upbeat and enthusiastic, especially relative to, like, a bunch of the songs, like, on the latter half of the record. And, yeah, Diana Gordon's performance is great. I really like... I don't even know if I could call it a hook, because I'm pretty sure it only happens once, but it sounds like a hook when she's like, I want to be where you are. I just can't walk away. You drive me crazy. And I lose it. And that part's really catchy, and then it goes into Yachty singing, and then the beat switches to a little less of a melodic flow from Yachty, but it still sounds really nice. And yeah, I don't know, something about Drive Me Crazy is just one of my favorite tracks for sure. And then the next song is an anomaly, because when I first heard it, I was like, this is probably my least favorite on the album, and it's become probably in my top 5, which is I've Officially Lost Vision. This song's a trip. It goes like pretty like low key into some like really hardcore like guitar, and Yachty like screaming fuck, and then like kind of a mellow-ish vibe like I done did so much drugs, I've been swirling and spinning, and then that kind of goes on for a little bit. He gets to the verse, I've officially lost vision, and it like transitions into Diana Gordon's part of this song, which is so good. And then it transitions out of her part so smoothly into like a incredibly climactic like overhaul of instrumental, and Yachty starts saying several lines with the cadence of the way he says I've officially lost vision, and then he makes it an actual cadence and says a couple of other things, and it's like a very interesting track because it's so climactic at that point, and it's like he's talking about, I'm pretty sure the line is he's been sent to a mental prison and he's been forced to make some terribly bad decisions. It's kind of like referencing regrets or like how he feels trapped. And I don't know if that's some kind of relation to the fact that he's like breaking out in this album, making a new genre. I don't know if that was a purposeful like correlation there, because I'm pretty sure that's like why the album cover looks like a bunch of executives laughing at him. I think that's the point of it, because it's like, you're so stupid for doing something different when you're making money doing the rap shit. I think that's probably part of what he's trying to get across in that part of I've Officially Lost Vision, which only makes it more meaningful, which only makes the song better in my eyes. After I've Officially Lost Vision, we have Say Something, which is, I know a couple of my friends, like, top 3 tracks, which is fair. This song is pretty good. It's like, I remember the music video is him with a girl, and I'm pretty sure the music video is just begging the girl to literally just say something the whole time, and then he, like, says I love you to her, and she's like, no, don't say that ever again, at the end of the video. But this one is way more heavily auto-tuned than a lot of the other songs on this, and it fits with the way that he's singing the words when he's like, say something. I know my singing is not the best, I'm not really a singer, so I can't do those auto-tune fluctuations with my voice. And I know on the, not even the second half, like the last part, he changes to some like really high falsetto saying like, I need your love, and some shit like that. Again, I don't remember all the lyrics off the top of my head, and I don't have them open or anything. I just have the track list in front of me, so I know the order. But Say Something was another highlight. I mean, I know some of the words to every single song, so that's saying something for how much I've enjoyed it, considering I've listened to all of them enough to like remember some of them. And this one transitions really smoothly into the next track, which is Paint the Sky. He's like, Say Something ends with like spoken, him saying like, I'd do anything for you, I'd paint the sky for you. And then there's like some kind of instrumental coming in very faintly towards the end of Say Something, which actually ends up being at the beginning of Paint the Sky, so it just goes straight into Paint the Sky. And I think Paint the Sky is not one of my favorites, but that I don't know where it would what would count as my least favorites at this point, to be honest, because I mean, I like all of them, but Paint the Sky is definitely not one of like my top songs. It's not as interesting as the other ones. Again, the production is still phenomenal on Paint the Sky, but there's nothing super notable about it in my personal opinion. And then Should I Be is the next song. Again, this song is just as a really catchy chorus to it, and again, phenomenal production. Those are the most memorable parts for me, at least. And again, nothing super notable for Should I Be, except how ridiculously catchy and good the hook is on that one. And then it goes, one of the smoothest transitions, if not the smoothest transition in the entire album, is Should I Be into The Alchemist. The Alchemist starts really like high-paced rock-ish, and he's like, I know that I was built for this, something, I am the alchemist. And then the way it transitions into Fouché's part is really, it just makes my brain happy, because the way he just like stops that flow at the beginning straight to going, sucker, and then it like changes the beat. Oh, I love that so much. And then the song continues, Fouché does her thing. Again, phenomenal performances on this album from everybody that's featured on it, to be honest. And I don't know if that's I don't know if I really have to say anything else about The Alchemist. And then we're brought to the outro, Reach the Sunshine. This is another phenomenal song, of course. This is ridiculous production, like the Black Seminole again, which is expected on the intro and the outro, of course. Another one where a solid chunk of the end of the song is without lyrics, which again is not a problem in this album because it just sounds so phenomenal. And I know there's a Daniel Caesar, beautiful first name by the way on that guy, singing at the beginning, and then it just like it transitions. I guess transitions isn't really the word. It switches to Yachty, and then I'm pretty sure it switches back to Daniel Caesar before the whole big instrumental climax at the end, which brings us to like the mellow piano ending of the entire album, and it just feels super symbolic and correct, and it's just the way to end it, in the same way that the Black Seminole is the way to start it. And man, I wanted to go more in depth with everything, but I didn't want this video to be too long. I've already been recording for almost 20 minutes, which means this video is not going to be much shorter than that because I don't have too many cuts to make. But I wish I could go more in depth, but I don't want this video to be too long, so I won't. But overall, the rating of this album, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10 on the 1 to 10 scale. And I guess there's nothing really to compare that to right now, because all of the albums that I've rated before, I rated differently. I mean, a lot of the ones that I did give 10s, I would probably still give 10s, and a lot of the ones that I didn't give 10s, I'd probably knock down a little bit. However, that's all I have to say, really. Listen to Let's Start Here. It is a fantastic album. It's an experience more than it is an album, to be honest. It feels like you're listening through like a movie or something. It feels like you're listening through someone's life. I don't know. Just the way the vibes carry you through, and the way the vocals, honestly, even more predominantly than Lil Yachty, from the female feature singers. I guess maybe equal amounts, not to like discredit Yachty, obviously. He's not a vocalist, he's not a singer like the other ones are, but Yachty with the auto-tune still sounds very nice on pretty much every track where it's present. So listen to Let's Start Here. So far, it's my favorite album of the year, but the only thing I really have to compare it to so far is SZA's album, which was also really good, by the way. But I do think this might have the edge on SZA for me so far this year. Let's hope for more great music to come out in 2023, because this is a pretty fantastic start when it comes to the album side of things. Let me know what you guys think of the album when you give it a listen in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed, and for more content like this, and even more content different from this, because I like doing a lot of different things on this channel. So if this was your cup of tea, maybe something else I do is, and if this wasn't, there's definitely something for you here. So make sure to check out another video if you're interested, and I will catch you all in the next one. Deuces.